Shut up and sit down.
Howdy and salutations. Welcome to Broken Table Commentary, a three-man creative debate podcast all about the greatest of fake sports, professional wrestling. Every week, we each bring a different topic to the table. The topics can be ridiculous or serious, opinion or factual, creative or not, whatever we feel like. On commentary, we have our Mark, the debonair diabetic dad, Lenton.
Hi, all my friends on the internet.
Our historian, the Scottish Grumpelstiltskin, Michael.
Hello. I'm not grumpy, by the way.
And our critic, me, Jessel. As always, you can follow us on SoundCloud, YouTube, and Facebook as Broken Table Commentary, or follow us directly at BrokenTableCommentary.com. New episodes are broadcast every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is episode number 1, Poker Table. It's number 1 because Michael's finally here. We've been hyping this episode for a while because...
Oh, shucky, ducky, quack, quack.
It is the official announcing of our Booker T Fantasy Invitational brackets. Now, normally, in normal episodes, we'll have 3 topics, but this is such a big topic, we're going to use this whole episode to cover the Booker T Fantasy Invitational the whole way through, and just split it into 3 sections. Wrestlemania 33 predictions, then the build to SummerSlam, and then the road to WrestleMania 34. So, how do you two feel about your brackets?
It's time to push Braun, isn't it?
I certainly couldn't say no to that.
I feel relatively bad about my bracket, but I'm not going to change it. I've put so many hours into this. I'm sure I gotta get some of these, right? There's no way I don't get anything.
That is definitely how I'm feeling. 2 days, 48 hours of wrestling has made me change 66% of my bracket. Raw and SmackDown changed everything for me. Well, not everything. Close to everything.
66%.
I made sure to watch them after you said that this morning, and having watched them both, I've decided it hasn't changed anything in mine because I still know better.
Well, with that said, let's do our first topic. All right, WrestleMania 2017. We're gonna go straight down the card. I'm gonna go first.
Well, hold on.
What? What?
If someone picks up on this episode without going to the website or listening to the first episode, they're not going to know what the BTFI is.
The Booker T Fantasy Invitational is a game created from conversations I've had with Michael in the past and from conversations with Lenton in the past, with just booking the WWE for fun and then taking that concept and making it a March Madness style bracket. So you can get points for correctly predicting a title match, correctly predicting a already announced match's winner, correctly predicting the winner of a title, and correctly putting that match in the correct pay-per-view. So we have it is an invitational, so we've invited anyone listening to play along with us. There's a form online. You can go check it out. BrokenTableCommentary.com has it. But the 3 of us are locking in our predictions right now, which means that you guys have a whole extra Raw and SmackDown and 205 Live to get one up on us, which could be very hilarious.
All the more time for people to give Curtis Axel main event runs.
I really did almost book Curtis Axel to do good stuff. I just ran out of room in my draft. I needed him to get drafted to SmackDown, and I was already full up on people to SmackDown. Spoilers, I guess.
You know, with my great love of Mr. Perfect, I was so tempted just to push his son, de facto, but it just wouldn't work.
No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, he doesn't show up on mine at all, so...
That really is a hard thing to do, to try to give everybody enough space. Did you guys find that you had a wrestler who ultimately, over the course of your year, ended up taking a huge backseat?
Yeah, definitely. After Mania, Sheamus kind of just fades away.
I do use Sheamus and Cesaro, but there just wasn't the room to use them to the utmost of their abilities, given everything else that had to happen.
Yeah, no, I feel that. After a little bit of time, Randy Orton just completely dies. He just goes away. I know, right? I made Randy disappear.
Yeah,
I'm
good luck.
shocked.
I booked him disappearing too. But we'll get there. We'll get there in the future. Did that cover all your questions, Linton? Am I good to go?
Yeah, I think the listeners will be very happy with that answer.
Good. All right, now for real round one. The WrestleMania 2017 predictions. We're going to go in order. Me, then whoever. I don't know who wants to go after me. But I'm just going to tell you all the matches on the card, and then my predictions for each one, why I picked those, so on and so forth. So first things first is the Andre the Giant Battle Royal Memorial. This seems like a lock for, like, Braun Strowman, but they really haven't announced a bunch of people in it. So based off of Raw, I decided Sami Zayn's going to pull it off. Sami Zayn's going to win. It's going to lead to the beginning of him actually getting stuff done. He's going to be the guy who stands up for the crowd, and you'll see that as we move into Payback and so forth. Next match, Seth Rollins versus Triple H, non-sanctioned. You only do that stipulation if you want Seth Rollins to win, right? So that's what I have. I have Seth winning. Though I do have Samoa Joe coming out to help Triple H. Oh no, what's going to happen? Then Finn Balor returns. WrestleMania moment. Finn Balor helps Seth. Woo! Baby faces. There's no harsh feelings. I understand. Accidents happen. Shake hands. Seth Rollins wins. John Cena and Nikki Bella versus The Miz and Maurice. I have John Cena and Nikki winning. Don't bet against John Cena. And John Cena will propose.
Ugh.
Total Bellas. It'll happen.
That's the lock of the night, surely.
AJ Styles versus Shane McMahon. I think AJ's got to win, but I could see it going either way, but I currently have AJ winning. Roman Reigns versus The Undertaker, unless Braun Strowman really screws up this match, which I don't have booked, I have The Undertaker winning, even though Roman Reigns tries as hard as he can to cheat to win. Doesn't quite turn heel, but yeah. Raw Tag Teams, The Club versus Sheamus and Cesaro versus Enzo and Big Cass. Big feel-good moment, Enzo and Big Cass take the Raw titles.
Yeah.
SmackDown tag titles, Usos versus American Alpha. They had a swap on Tuesday, so Usos are now the title holders, so you get your rematch, and Usos retain. Raw Women, Charlotte versus Sasha versus Bayley versus Nia Jax. Bayley has looked so weak on every episode of Raw, she's got to win at WrestleMania, essentially. That's my thought process. So Bayley retains. And Bayley retains because the SmackDown women, Alexa versus All, will have Alexa lose. And I think Naomi will make a surprise return to be a 2-time SmackDown champ. So I'm going with Naomi. Cruiserweight title, I went back and forth a lot, but I think that Austin Aries just keeps getting the one-up on Neville. So I think that means Neville's going to retain. The king of the Cruiserweights ain't done yet. IC title, Dean Ambrose versus Baron Corbin. Time for Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin gets that title. Kevin Owens versus Jericho. It's got to be Owens. Jericho puts people over at Mania. It's what he does. Randy Orton versus Bray Wyatt. As much as I want the Rumble winner to matter, I think Bray Wyatt retains. Because we're not going to have 2 top titles switch. Because, Brock Lesnar beats Goldberg for the Universal title. And that's my WrestleMania 2017.
I was just looking up that bit I mentioned to you yesterday about Jericho.
Anything I did that sounds stupid?
Oh, I could see it all happening.
Well, I'm certain you guys aren't going to completely agree with me.
You already know the WWE psychic entity hitting me, as you said, you've noted before, both world titles changing in the one night. Not usual at WrestleMania, actually.
Mm-hmm. I think the only time that both main titles changed was Batista Cena, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you mentioned in whatever Chance last pay-per-view, I was like, no, it must have happened all the time, but then I looked up and actually, no, it not really happened that often at all. The memory cheats.
What about you, Lenny? Anything I did that was crazy to you?
Nope, nothing jumped out to me as crazy.
All right, well, what are you guys? What's your WrestleMania look like?
You want to take this, Michael? No, you can go ahead and go. I'm listening.
Okay. I'll just get my sheet up. Haha. Right, so that's the 13 matches, aye?
Yep, 13.
Oh, lucky 13. Although, I've got a feeling at least 4 of them will become pre-show with their time management. I was watching WrestleMania 21 the other, 2 days ago, and they managed to fit 3 matches into the first hour and 40 minutes or so. They've got a Hulk Hogan segment in there too, but my goodness, you can see why half the SmackDown roster got missed off that WrestleMania.
Unfortunate.
Let's see. The Andre Battle Royal, which the internet seems to shorten down to Armbar, and I've never quite worked out how. I've been utterly shocking here, and I'm giving it to Braun Strowman. I feel he will come in and kind of do the whole big man dominating thing, and it'll probably come down to him and Big Show, and we can pretend that they're having the match that they had a few weeks ago on a bigger stage. I feel bad for the Big Show though. His last chance at this big match he really wanted, and it's not happening for seemingly no fault of his own. But that's life for you. Cruiserweights, I do agree with Jessel that. The whole thing's been so around Aries that it's set up for your champion retains WrestleMania, but the story goes on. So I have Neville retaining there. Triple H, Seth Rollins, still unconvinced it's going to happen as a conventional match. I think it's going to be more of a sort of a brawl segment, so to speak, with and you can get Joe and Sami Zayn involved in there without them having any official match per se. If it does go to a match, I feel that Triple H will go over just because I feel that Seth Rollins is somewhat injury prone at the moment, and if he comes back at WrestleMania, he's not going to be around for much of the year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, certainly.
I just chucked that into the booking at the last minute because I'm not entirely convinced it's going to be a traditional unsanctioned match. I think it's going to be more a brawl segment akin to did you ever see the Austin Rikishi match from No Mercy 2000 where he came back and it's basically they brawl around the arena and then Austin gets arrested for nearly killing a police officer? It makes more sense in context.
Yeah, I remember that. I attribute this match to more akin to Vince Brett from a couple years ago.
True.
Or Sting Triple H. That clusterfuck.
It's kind of really hard to tell what's going to happen because they blurred the lines so continuously on it. Mm-hmm. Going into match 4, you'll be astounded to know I think John Cena's going to win. I know he rarely wins on pay-per-view. But yes, Cena and Nikki are going to win. Although those segments on SmackDown with Maurice and Miz as the Total Divas things, my God, that started at dreadful and then kept going on until it became kind of funny because it was so bad.
Oh yeah, I loved them.
They were absolutely wonderful. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched them, just pause it and go watch them. They're amazing.
They're on YouTube for free. WWE YouTube. They do a good job of recapping that stuff.
I mean, I thought they were hilarious, and I do not like The Miz. So anyone who doesn't have that bias would have thought they were brilliant. I assume. AJ Styles to defeat Shane McMahon. I have the dreadful fear it will go the other way around, but for half of my booking to make sense, AJ Styles cannot lose to Shane McMahon at WrestleMania, so I'm sticking to the hope that common sense happens and AJ retains. Retains? See, even my brain
retains his dignity.
Oh, yes. AJ to beat Shane. Roman Reigns to beat The Undertaker. Oh dear. But there's no reason for them to book this match unless Reigns has beaten Taker, and my inner Taker mark, which has existed for 8 years before I became a wrestling fan, because they used to sell the Woolworth Santa used to sell wrestling figures, and I had the choice, age 4, of an Undertaker figure or a Hulk Hogan figure, and I picked Undertaker because he looked far cooler. And I stick to that 27 years on. But yes, even as the biggest Undertaker fan, in this house at the moment, he really looks like he needs to retire quite prompto, and I wouldn't be surprised if this is actually his last match.
Interesting.
Not in that, I'm sure if he was able to, Vince would love to sign off another 7 WrestleMania matches with Taker, but just from the way he looks, he doesn't look like he's got more than one more match in him. Raw tag titles, I'm going for the club to retain them because I feel it'll be on the pre-show, so it'll just be your standard tag title exhibition, shall we say, in front of no fans whatsoever. And hopefully Cesaro won't get a huff from it and quit midway through the year like Ryback did and then screw up. Well, actually, wouldn't screw up much of my projections, but it's a thought that counts. SmackDown Women, who knows who's in this match? I've got a feeling like Kelly or other folk are going to be in the vicinity for the Hall of Fame might do surprise appearances, which would bring it onto the main show. But just for safety's sake, I have decided that Becky Lynch will get the belt on the main at WrestleMania, because she seems to be the sort of focal point, especially if Nikki Bella is stepping down, as we say.
I'd heard the same about them bringing the alumni back.
Yeah, they have not said it is. They have said it's all the available women. You know, they've very specifically stated that, which gives them a leeway to have, you know, one night surprises.
Fingers crossed for Victoria and Molly Holly.
Oh, if Molly Holly shows up in it, I will give WrestleMania 10 stars. I will. Oh, I am a big Molly Holly fan. On the Raw side, I've actually got Sasha Banks winning the belt just because I feel like she's been somewhat sidelined, really focused on Bayley and Charlotte and Nia, and I'm so used to WWE misdirection now that they don't focus on the person that they're going to focus on. I could be wrong, but I decided to focus on Sasha after WrestleMania, so she wins the belt here. Technically, she should have won the belt at last WrestleMania, but what can you do? Dean Ambrose to beat Baron Corbin, because I've got a feeling he'll get a big WrestleMania win to apologise for how badly his WrestleMania match went last year.
That's actually a really good point. Like, I didn't even think of that. That's a really good point.
Yeah, it's like, you remember one of the few bright sparks of WrestleMania 29 was the tag title match, and Daniel Bryan basically got to win it on his own, and then the whole thing ends with him being celebrated, and they're all chanting yes, and it's almost like we're really sorry about the whole 18 seconds thing, and I've got a feeling that they'll kind of give Ambrose a big WrestleMania moment this year to, like, you know, sorry about the whole Brock screwing you over thing, mate.
That's a really good point.
So that leaves 3 matches. The US title, which I was so ready to go with Owens winning because you know, we looked at the early betting, although the early betting does change a lot, and they're convinced that Owens is winning it, and I know you're, Jessel, are convinced that Owens is winning it. I don't know what Lenton thinks.
I think it's the only other lock on the card.
Yeah, but the whole thing reminds me of Orton Triple H from WrestleMania 25, where the whole thing seemed that they were coordinating Orton in the main event there, and then Triple H won, because the whole setup had been Orton is a complete shit to all of Triple H's loved ones, and the Triple H was the babyface, and he needed his revenge. And the whole setup so far has been that Jericho did all the stuff for Owens. Owens turned on him, really kind of in that whole betrayal and that actually quite good segment in the friendship segment. So the whole thing is that Jericho needs his revenge on Owens, who betrayed him, and it just seems like the WrestleMania thing that in this moment Jericho will retain the belt. And it reminds me, I know he's leaving shortly to go do the Fozzy stuff. They've still got the Raw after WrestleMania, and it reminds me of the Ziggler program from SummerSlam 2012, where people were like, well, Jericho's leaving, he must be putting over Ziggler at SummerSlam. And Jericho actually beat Ziggler clean at SummerSlam and then lost to him the very next night. I have a feeling that history will repeat itself and that Jericho will win at WrestleMania and then get written out the next night on Raw.
Sure.
And that just leaves us with the 2 world title matches, which are completely boring in comparison. Orton over Wyatt, because they just have a fixation with giving Orton random title runs. I've got used to it by now. And Brock will beat Goldberg, and it'll be a squash match, and it'll be a complete waste of everyone's time. So that's my WrestleMania for you.
All right. No, I really liked your Dean Ambrose point. That is something I wish I had thought of. What do you think is going to happen to the SmackDown tag titles?
I think nothing's going to happen to it, and they'll be lucky to get into the Andre Battle Royal.
Check, I got you. All right.
Y'all ready for me?
Bum, 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 bum.
What was that?
That's the song. Y'all ready for this? Dun, 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 dun,
okay.
And all right, go. I'm making a fool of
All
myself.
Right. We'll jump right into the Memorial Battle Royal. I actually believe that due to how everything went with the Big Show and Shaq and Big Show talking about retiring in a little bit and all that stuff, I think the Big Show is going to get his second Memorial Battle Royal trophy.
All right.
So Big Show wins that match. Next, and after hearing Michael, I actually want to change this pick, but I'm not going to do that because I considered once we got on the call that the picks are locked in for me.
Yeah,
so
I agree. I'm with you because Michael made some good points.
So I've got Baron Corbin beating Dean Ambrose. I don't want to have it, but it's there. Cruiserweight title, I agree with everybody on this.
Ooh.
Neville's going to beat Austin Aries. Raw tag titles, I got Enzo and Big Cass winning and getting their WrestleMania moment. Probably their last WrestleMania moment together, but I got that. I got that American Alpha will come to the ring and challenge the Usos to a match at WrestleMania. And the Usos will come out and think about going in the ring and putting their belts on the line. But then they'll just be like, nah, we're good. And they're just going to leave. And so American Alpha doesn't get their WrestleMania match. They don't get a chance at their titles back. And the Usos get a bunch of heel heat for teasing it and then being like, nah, we're out of here. See you guys later.
I like that. I like that moment a lot. I like that better than my pick of just having an actual match. That's good.
See, I've got the SmackDown Women's title. I've got Carmella winning it with the help of James Ellsworth, but not knowing what match type it's going to be is what really makes it difficult. Not so much the who's going to be in it bothers me, but what kind of match type it's going to be.
Yeah,
because if it's
my best guess is that it's going to be a handicap match. It's Alexa versus All, and whoever pins Alexa wins. But I don't know. I really couldn't tell you.
I thought it was going to be like, the match that AG defended the belt, the only women's belt at the time at WrestleMania 30. It was a 12-person match. It was set up as AG versus all the other women, but it was very much every woman for themselves.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's a match where there's a lot of people in the ring at once, because I think Carmella would do better with the help of James to trick around and do stuff. If it's a one-on-one type of someone comes in after the other, this pick is going to be harder. But I'm sticking with it. Carmella wins the belt. I've got Sasha Banks winning the Raw Women's title. I agree with Michael on that she's been taking the back seat during all this.
I'm the odd man out.
I would go with her pinning Bayley to win the belt. Not that that really matters, but that's who I have there. I'd say AJ Styles beats Shane McMahon, but this is one that I've been going back and forth on. Because, I don't know. We'll see what happens there. But I currently have AJ Styles because he is a wrestler beating a guy who wrestles once a year. Because that's what should happen. U.S. title, I am totally with Michael 100%. There's no way Chris Jericho's losing this match to Kevin Owens. This is a personal match. This isn't just Chris Jericho's here and Fandango shows up or whatever. This is personal for Jericho, and he's the babyface. I think Jericho's got to win this. He doesn't go on tour till the beginning of May. He's got a little bit of time to drop the belt. I said Jericho beats Kevin Owens. Seth Rollins beats Triple H. I think it's not going to be as wacky as you guys think it is. I think it'll probably be just them running around and hitting each other with things for a little bit, and then Seth Rollins ends up pinning him, and that's that. That's what I'm...
You think it'll be the return of the curb stomp? Because that's the finish I'm wanting. I want him to beat Triple H with the curb stomp.
Potentially, that didn't even crossed my mind, but if somebody would be willing to take it, Triple H is pretty good about that kind of thing. Roman Reigns beating The Undertaker. There's no reason whatsoever for The Undertaker to win. It doesn't even make sense that Undertaker is there saying, this is my yard. Oh, it's not your yard. You're here once a year. Doesn't make any sense. Roman Reigns has got to beat Taker.
Oh, man.
I have Miz and Maurice winning the match. I have Maurice getting the pin on Nikki Bella, Nikki Bella being the weak link and costing them the match. Maybe Miz is doing something illegal to Cena, and so Nikki gets a little too caught up in, I've got to protect my man, and that helps Maurice take the win. So I've got Maurice and Miz winning that. Universal title, Brock Lesnar beats Goldberg, obviously. And then I have Bray Wyatt beating Randy Orton with his new powers.
Yeah, Bray Wyatt just powered up, so yeah, absolutely. Anime rules dictate Bray Wyatt continues to hold the belt.
And I didn't think we were going to see Luke Harper until after Mania, so when he showed up to cut a promo just saying, you're screwed now, Randy, or Wyatt's got his superpowers, I was like, interesting. I like that. That made me happy.
So we only have 3 that we're all on the same page for.
I'll say this.
Everything else.
Neville's going to be really worried now after our unanimous vote of confidence.
I mean, the Neville Austin Aries feud has got gas in the tank. They need to ride this baby out for a while. So
I'm feeling that they're going to try to make Neville Austin Aries be the Rock Stone Cold of the Cruiserweights. That it's going to be they have 3 big matches and they trade wins. So first one's Neville, second one's Aries, and then third one will be whoever they ultimately go with. But that'll be years of booking, lots of plans. They're clearly building the Cruiserweights around them. That's my thought anyway.
yeah, I have that exact thing happening. So I definitely agree. It doesn't last that long, but I have 3 matches between the two.
Yeah, I have it, but I have it lasting for so long that you don't see it finish.
Oh, wow. That's pretty dope.
Oh, it seems to be getting the crowds more into the cruiserweight action. So
The only reason I wonder if it has enough gas is because Austin Aries is so much better as a heel, and Neville is so good as a heel. I just don't know how long they can... I mean, we'll see.
In a perfect world, I think that the third match, they'd have swapped roles. So Neville will be heel for 2 of them, Austin will be face for 2 of them, and then their third encounter will have them swapped.
I like that.
you're not having the good old-fashioned heel versus heel match then.
No, I've had enough Sheamus versus Randy Orton's for my lifetime, thank you very much.
When they announced Regal v Finlay, a pay-per-view years ago, I was the only person in the world excited, and they were both playing mega heels on SmackDown, and the crowd were just silent as they chain wrestled everywhere. But I'm a gregarious Scot. I will happily mark out for other Brits that make it in the WWE.
Alright, so that's round 1 is done. You've heard all our WrestleMania predictions, plus a little bit of fantasy booking from all of us. So now it's time for round 2, the build to SummerSlam.
2.
And that is going to be me starting that off. I'm doing one last scroll through everything I have. All right. This week after Mania, we'll say week instead of just Raw because SmackDown's its own brand. I've got Finn Balor returning on Raw, and I have Ty Dillinger debuting on Raw as another one of Triple H's cronies. I've got Shinsuke Nakamura debuting on SmackDown, and I've got Hideo Itami debuting on 205 Live.
Holy hell, 4 debuts, the week after WrestleMania.
Well,
All right.
1 return, so 3 debuts. So each show gets a debut. Okay, so Raw, tag titles, Enzo and Cass retain versus the Club.
This is at Payback.
This is at Payback, Raw, April 30th. I've got women's title. I've got Sasha Banks defeating Bayley in a one-on-one contest. I have Austin Aries defeating Neville for the Cruiserweight title. So that's our first trade of the wins. United States title. Now I have Kevin Owens defeating Chris Jericho in a no-holds-barred match. Jericho does not start his tour till, I believe, May 4th, May 7th, something around the beginning of May. So it's cutting it really close. And if he gets hurt in a no-holds-barred match before he goes on tour... But I'm saying Jericho can pull it off because Jericho can do anything. So he drops the belt to Kevin Owens at Payback. And then for the Universal title, and this is probably the biggest fantasy booking I have in my whole entire thing. I have the Big Show defeating Brock Lesnar for the Universal title.
Wow.
If this is the Big Show's last year, after everything he's done, how he got screwed over so bad at WrestleMania, I think he deserves a Universal title run. So I have him the night after Mania, the night after Mania when Brock has nobody to fight and he's bragging. I had the Big Show coming out with his big old trophy and them starting a little feud together. And then I have the Big Show beating Brock Lesnar because Brock Lesnar just thought he'd be a cakewalk. And the Big Show's got a different kind of motivation right now. So I got him knockout punching the shit out of Brock Lesnar and getting that belt. So there's Payback.
All right, next up is Backlash, SmackDown.
And before Backlash, we'll have Daniel Bryan announce that he's taking time off to because the baby is due actually April 30th, Brie Bella's baby. So around that time, Daniel Bryan is going to leave, and I'll just go ahead and tell you now, he's never coming back. Once he leaves for that baby, that is the last you ever see Daniel Bryan in the WWE. So Daniel Bryan's gone. I've got Kurt Angle coming in as general manager. I've read that rumors a couple places that they're thinking about doing that with Raw, but I think Raw's okay. I would say if he does it, Kurt Angle will take over and help out on SmackDown. All right. So Backlash, SmackDown, May 21st. I couldn't remember James Ellsworth's name when I wrote this. So I've got Carmella with Snappy Dinkus. Retains against Naomi. Now it will be a title change. Yeah, so Dean Ambrose will beat Baron Corbin. to get the title back, which everything is messed up now that Michael messed with my brain, so my IC title is messy. I got the Usos retaining against American Alpha. This I consider an important match. I think Nikki Bella gets her one-on-one with Maurice, and she just destroys her. So Nikki Bella will destroy Maurice. And then I've got Randy Orton winning a triple threat against Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper to get the WWE title, which is the match that we should have had at WrestleMania, but now we'll get it at this other pay-per-view. Now we're moving to Extreme Rules, which is Raw June 4th. I've got Neville defeating Austin Aries in a ladder match to get the title back. I've got The New Day defeating Enzo and Big Cass for the title.
Is that a heel turn for New Day?
No, because they're both so silly. I think that it doesn't have to be. It's just gonna.
Okay.
I think it'll be a trash match, but I think The New Day gets the belt from Enzo and Big Cass.
Interesting.
I got Sasha Banks defeating Dana Brooke, so Dana Brooke gets a little bit of a push. United States title, I got Kevin Owens defeating Finn Balor. And for the Universal title, I've got Brock Lesnar getting his title back. So the Big Show had a little bit of a reign. Brock Lesnar defeats the Big Show in a last man standing match by beating him down with his giant trophy till he can't move.
Oh, man. All right.
So, all right, now we're heading to Money in the Bank, which is SmackDown June 18th. But SmackDown makes a deal with Raw that Raw can have a Money in the Bank match as well. But that means SmackDown gets an extra draft trade later on in the year. So that is the deal made for Money in the Bank. All right. So we start off with the Raw Money in the Bank. I got Samoa Joe defeating Ty Dillinger, Finn Balor, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and the Big Show. So Samoa Joe has a briefcase. And then I've got The Miz defeating Corbin, Heath, Rhino, Apollo Crews, and John Cena, who's making his return after taking some time off. I've got American Alpha getting the titles from the Usos finally in a tornado tag no disqualification match. The Usos say if they want another shot, they have to do it on the Usos' terms. So they make it all hardcore, but American Alpha beats them and they get the title. Bray Wyatt defeats Luke Harper in a casket match. Got that on there.
Interesting.
Mickey James defeats Carmella for the belt. So Carmella drops her belt. And then I've got Randy Orton defeating Dean Ambrose, which I'm not really happy with that one. But, I mean, we're going to do that. So Dean Ambrose, it's WWE champion versus IC champion. Because Dean Ambrose can go back and forth. He doesn't have to be a good guy or a bad guy. For some reason, people still like him. So Randy Orton beats Dean Ambrose. All right. So before Bad Blood, this is just an important thing because I promised this was going to happen.
Just announced Bad Blood.
Yes, just announced. I had a different pay-per-view there before. Now I have Bad Blood.
Yeah, you and I both had a Great American Bash.
Yeah, I wish they wouldn't have announced it already so we could have looked like idiots.
I know, right?
All right, I've got before Bad Blood, Mauro Ranallo does get fired. I know we don't need to put firings and injuries, but it's very important that Mauro Ranallo is fired.
It's important?
Yes.
It's important that a commentator gets fired?
I promised it was going to happen, so I had to have it on there. So he's gone. He's out of there. So we head into Bad Blood. U.S. title. Kevin Owens defeats Big Show. Cruiserweight title. I got Neville defeating Cedric Alexander. That's just whatever. Tag titles. I got the New Day, all three of them, defending against Enzo, Big Cass, and Cesaro. I got Cesaro trying to join up so they can have the belts and share them, but they lose. It doesn't work. And during all this, Enzo and Big Cass are getting upset with each other and not getting along, all that good stuff. Samoa Joe and Ty Dillinger then get a shot at the tag titles against the New Day and beat them. Stephanie just gives them an immediate title shot just because she's a dick. So Samoa Joe and Ty Dillinger beat the New Day after the New Day beats Enzo, Cesaro, and Big Cass. They get the tag titles. Sasha Banks defeats Nia Jax. And then I have Brock Lesnar defeating Braun Strowman. And in a number one contenders match, Seth Rollins defeats Roman Reigns and Finn Balor in a triple threat. Do I need to do my draft if it's before SummerSlam, I'm assuming?
Yeah, if it's before SummerSlam, we definitely need to know your draft, because it'll affect your SummerSlam, I assume.
Yeah. Okay, so I've got going to SmackDown. I have the New Day's going to SmackDown. I've got Finn Balor going to SmackDown, Cesaro going to SmackDown, and I have Charlotte going to SmackDown. And then, in their extra draft pick, I have Brock Lesnar going to SmackDown.
Ooh, goodness.
Got to get Brock and Roman away from each other, so I think the way to do it is send Brock to SmackDown. Heading to Raw, you got to put these two together. So Nikki Bella and John Cena are going to Raw. And then Bray Wyatt's going to Raw. And American Alpha is going to Raw. And now in American Alpha, after the New Day gets drafted to SmackDown, they book the New Day versus American Alpha on that Raw where the draft. Although I'm not going to call it a draft. I think it's going to be more like a trade where people get to make trades or deals, more like a NFL thing. I got the New Day defeating American Alpha for the tag titles on this episode of Raw, so they're taking the belts with them to SmackDown. When Brock Lesnar gets drafted, Stephanie is furious because they're going to be without a champion again, which is the same thing that happened last draft. So Shane McMahon actually makes the decision to strip Brock Lesnar of the belt and give it to Stephanie before Brock Lesnar comes over. So Brock Lesnar is stripped of his belt, and Kurt Angle...
Well, that's very kind of him.
Kurt Angle is going to introduce the Gold Rush tournament, which the winner will receive his Olympic gold and be able to defend it. So that is all what's heading into SummerSlam for me.
And be able to defend it? Like you're adding a new belt?
Adding a new belt, essentially.
All right.
The Olympic gold. SummerSlam. I got Sasha Banks defeating Nikki Bella. Hideo Itami defeating Neville for the Cruiserweight title. Women's title on SmackDown. I have Charlotte, who's now on SmackDown, defeating Mickie James. I have the IC title versus Money in the Bank briefcase. I've got The Miz defeating Dean Ambrose. So now The Miz has the briefcase and the IC title, a la RVD. In the Gold Rush finals, Cesaro defeats Apollo Crews to win the Olympic gold medal. I have the Revival. Oh, yeah, the Revival. They get called up from NXT, by the way. I apparently didn't write that down, but then it's down here. Yeah, Revival's coming to SmackDown, and they're going to beat the New Day and get the tag titles. Raw tag titles, American Alpha is going to defeat Samoa Joe and Ty Dillinger at SummerSlam. Randy Orton is going to face Luke Harper. He makes his return after being locked in the casket for a while. He's coming back as the SmackDown monster heel dude. So Randy Orton is going to beat Luke Harper at SummerSlam. Brock Lesnar defeats Shane McMahon. They're going to start a feud, obviously, since Shane took the belt from him. So Brock Lesnar destroys Shane McMahon. Chris Jericho coming back around this time, and I have him beating Kevin Owens for the U.S. title in an I Quit match. So this feud's going to get a lot of time. So that feud picks back up at SummerSlam.
Goodness.
And then I've got Bray Wyatt defeating Seth Rollins for the vacant Universal title. I've actually got, at the end, Shane McMahon coming and helping Bray Wyatt win the match to his sister's aid and asking for a job on Raw so he can leave SmackDown and leave Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar and all the mess that he has created, but now he's groveling at Stephanie's feet.
That's interesting. I like that.
So you have Stephanie and Shane on Raw with Bray Wyatt as your Universal Champion to end SummerSlam.
All right. Michael, you want to go next? Or you want me to go next?
I should really go next, otherwise it'll be me, asthmatic me, doing two in a row, and I might collapse and die, and that wouldn't be good for the podcast at all. On the night after WrestleMania, Sami Zayn is doing his usual standing up to the authority, and they put him in a match with Joe, and all the usual pro Triple H folks start to get involved. There's rumblings in real life of it. There's going to be a sort of a Triple H kind of heel stable forming, and Joe and Owens will obviously be members of that. But Sami Zayn's getting his ass kicked in the ring when who should appear but Balor, who comes out the ring and makes a save because they can play up on the fact that they were friends in NXT and they have this bond. So when we come to Payback, the first match I have here is a title change where Balor and Sami Zayn defeat the Club to win the Raw Tag titles.
All right.
Nice.
On that post-WrestleMania Raw, I also have Kevin Owens winning the US title, as I referred to earlier. I was going to have a Battle Royal on Raw to determine his number one contender because, you see, I really love Battle Royals. And the winner, it was a surprise winner. It's Gentleman Jack Gallagher.
Huh, alright.
They have a nice match, but Owens wins. Sasha defends her belt against Charlotte because if we're going to push Sasha, she needs to beat the person that keeps beating her on pay-per-view. Cruiserweights, Austin Aries defeats Neville on Payback in a gimmick match of some sort. Nobody wants to hear about Samoa Joe Cesaro because it's non-titled, but I'm pretty sure it's an awesome match. In the Universal title match, not that I'm planning to retcon anything that happens at WrestleMania here. I figured Roman Reigns is going to win the belt at some point, so I might as well win it now and get it over and done with. He beats Brock Lesnar, and he's the new Universal Champion. Backlash. Oh, I'm so glad they brought back Backlash. That was a great name for a pay-per-view. And we open with the Usos versus American Alpha for the SmackDown Tag Titles. There's a title change, American Alpha win the belts back. And now there's an IC title match. Somewhere, like, I'd say maybe a fortnight after WrestleMania, they have a WrestleMania rematch on SmackDown, and that's where Baron Corbin wins the IC title.
All right.
But he's solely a heel with the belt here because he's about to lose it to someone who's debuting from out with the company.
Uh-oh.
And that is the return after 8 years of Jeff Hardy.
Nice.
Oh, all right.
Who is my new IC champion. He's debuting without someone else who you might expect right now.
Yeah, no, but that guy's pretty broken anyway.
SmackDown Women's title, I've got Becky successfully defending against Mickie James, so they can blow off that kind of long-running storyline. And in the main event, Bray Wyatt, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and John Cena in a fatal four-way, and Bray Wyatt wins the belt right back again.
Nice.
So at the very start of June, the draft happens.
Oh, goodness, your draft is early.
Clearly, I mean the very end of May. So, yes, it happens in the last Raw before Extreme Rules. And I will jump right back up to tell you my draft is drafted to SmackDown, Balor, Sami Zayn, The Club, and Emma.
All right, I'm happy with her on SmackDown.
Emma's a good pick. That's a good one.
Drafted to Raw, Alexa Bliss, The Usos, Luke Harper, and AJ Styles.
Oh gosh.
So we're back to Extreme Rules, and right on that draft show, the first thing Luke Harper does is basically he shows up towards the main event, and people are like, "Oh, what's he going to do?" And what does he do? He immediately joins forces with Triple H's wee stable because that's what he does. We're still building up the Balor Sami Zayn friendship. Extreme Rules. There's a Anything Goes tag match. And the Samoa Joe and Luke Harper win the belts. They are representing this main event stable. So there's a title change there. The US title, Kevin Owens defends in a four-way match with Cesaro, Sheamus, and Braun Strowman. Owens wins by pinning Cesaro. The women's title, Sasha defends the belt successfully against Bayley. Cruiserweights, Austin Aries defends the belt in a six-way exhibition. You've got Kendrick, Gallagher, Swan, Neville, and Tozawa I have down here as the people who've been in that match. Aries retains. In the Universal title match, I have Roman Reigns defending the belt against Seth Rollins. So then we get to Money in the Bank. In reverse order, Bray Wyatt defends his belt successfully against John Cena. The women's belt, Becky Lynch defends her belt against Natalya. Intercontinental belt, Jeff Hardy defends against Kalisto. I feel that could be a kind of a wee 7-minute, interesting one-off thing. SmackDown tag, title change, alas, the Club defeat American Alpha. They're not even getting their way in my own fantasy booking, it's terrible. Poor Chad. Obviously, Balor and Sami Zayn's friendship is they're both on SmackDown now. They're away from Triple H. But they're both in the Money in the Bank alongside Baron Corbin, Dean Ambrose, the returning Eric Rowan in his only appearance on this show. On my one anyway, I don't know. I assume Justin's given him a 7-month world title reign.
Well, why is that the assumption?
That's great.
I mean, to be fair, Big Red is a genius. He can do Rubik's Cubes backstage.
Ugh.
Ziggler, Miz, Orton, and James Ellsworth in the comedy spot of the match. He's in the Money in the Bank and he gets killed. Well, it comes down to the fact that Balor wins the Money in the Bank. You can see this means I'll watch him. He will not let go of this briefcase because it keeps playing on him. That the last time he got a world title, it got taken right off him through no fault of his own, right immediately. So the whole concept of having a guaranteed title shot just means the absolute world to him. As you may have assumed, Jessel, I was bringing back the King of the Ring for the July 9th Raw pay-per-view. And you might think that it being announced as Bad Blood put a dagger in those plans. So what I've done instead is announced that it is Bad Blood presents the King of the Ring!
Very nice. Nice fix.
Then the final, AJ Styles defeats Samoa Joe and wins what has already been stipulated the winner of the King of the Ring will get a world title shot at SummerSlam, which is what happened to Brock Lesnar and technically also happened for Owen, Mabel and Kurt Angle, although it wasn't stipulated within it. It was more, it came out of them winning the King of the Ring, so I figured that's a good reason to bring the thing back. Plus, I love tournaments.
And having the SmackDown have the Money in the Bank and Raw having the King of the Ring actually makes a lot of sense. I really like that.
Also on that show, the Usos have won the tag titles. They defend against Enzo and Cass, who don't win the belts yet again. Sasha defends her title against Alexa Bliss. Roman Reigns defeats Braun Strowman by disqualification.
Hey, we both got that same match. That makes me happy.
Yeah, pretty much. Oh, and there's a Cruiserweight match the next night on Raw, and Tozawa wins the Cruiserweight title.
Oh.
So this leads us to SummerSlam. The Cruiserweight belt, and Tozawa retains against Aries, Neville, and Swan in a 4-way.
Goodness.
You've got the Raw tag titles, and the Usos defend against Enzo and Big Cass, and Enzo and Big Cass finally win them. You have the SmackDown tag, but first I need to dovetail onto the previous week's SmackDown, where Jeff Hardy's IC title reign came to an end when he had an open challenge, and it got answered by Kurt Hawkins, who got his ass handed to him. But then something tragic happened to the referee, who got distracted, allowing the club, who Jeff Hardy has been kind of trying to fight 2-1. They came in and took out Jeff Hardy, and Kurt Hawkins got the free count, the title, and basically celebrated like he'd done it all by himself, and this was the greatest moment in the history of wrestling. And Jeff Hardy challenged the club to a SmackDown tag title match, and when they pointed out there was only one of him and two of them, he said he had a mystery partner who'd be showing up at SummerSlam. You're going to be absolutely shocked to find out who that is.
Oh, I hope it's Great Khali.
So Jeff Hardy, it starts 2-1, and he's doing his always Jeff Hardy stuff, but also the numbers are getting too much for him, and it's looking bad for him. He manages to get on a mic and he says, "Brother Matt, I need you." And the lights go off, and you've got Matt coming out and this whole crazy thing, and he's like, "Brother Nero, you called?" So then he's got the Broken Hardys are there in WWE, and the club basically job to hell. And the Hardys have the tag titles at SummerSlam. SmackDown Women's, Becky Lynch defends against Emma. A close match. The Raw Women's match. Raw Women's title. Sasha, Bayley, Nia Jax, Charlotte, Alexa Bliss, and this person who debuted a month prior on Raw and has basically run through everyone since, Asuka. And she wins the women's title.
I love you have so many huge multi-man matches. I love it.
I like multi-man matches. It comes from the Battle Royal fandom.
I can tell.
Kurt Hawkins comes out, and he's got pyro, and he's got an announcer, and he's trying to make himself look like the biggest man in wrestling. He's like, I'm the IC champion. I'm going to be fighting IC champion. Open challenge. I don't care who it is. Just bring someone out to face me. Which you might remember is exactly what Honky Tonk Man did. It's the first SummerSlam.
That's true.
And of course, this kind of goes exactly for him as it did for Honky Tonk Man, because we get the debut of Nakamura. Absolutely squashes Kurt Hawkins and wins the IC title. Over on Raw, Samoa Joe picks up the US title. Triple threat between him, Owens, and Cesaro. The Universal title, we've got AJ Styles defeating Roman Reigns to win the Universal Championship. And then the main event, there was a battle royal at the start of August to determine who should face Bray Wyatt. And of course there's a battle royal.
I love it.
And who should win but Sami Zayn. And much to everyone's shock, he beats Bray Wyatt to win the WWE Championship.
Oh, goodness.
I know.
Sami Zayn is your 50th WWE champ.
I know, but Bray's not very happy with this, and Eric Rowan, who's sort of always following Bray Wyatt because he wants to be loved, they're attacking Sami Zayn, and it's like, oh no. But here comes Balor to make the save, and it's like he KOs Rowan, and Bray Wyatt's out the ring, and it's just him and Sami Zayn in the ring, and Sami Zayn's given the world title, and they hug in the middle of the ring, like, Eddie and Benoit at WrestleMania 20, and it was like, oh, what a nice scene. And then the camera should be right at a specific angle, so they don't just see while he's in the hug, Balor handing the Money in the Bank title to the referee. Kind of like in the horror movie where you go, hang on, did I just see? Oh shit! And then, of course, Balor low blows his best friend that they've been saying about, and quickly pins him with the coup de grace to completely betray him and win the WWE title. And that's my SummerSlam.
Very nice. I like it. Okay, let's go to Payback. First things first, Bayley retained at WrestleMania. So Sasha, her best friend, is like, Bayley, that's so great, you did it. And she retained by Sasha controlling Charlotte on the outside. I see like her have a bank statement on Charlotte at WrestleMania outside the ring as Bayley finally super belly to Bayley's Nia Jax and gets the win. So it's like, oh, we did it. You're my best friend and I love you. I deserve a title match now. And Bayley's like, you are my best friend. We should. And then Sasha just beats the hell out of her as soon as the contract signing's done. And she's like, I hate you. I've done all this to get that title. I couldn't beat Charlotte, but I sure as hell can beat you. And she does. And Sasha beats the hell out of Bayley at Payback, turning full heel. Stephanie McMahon comes out, shakes her hand. Raw tag titles, nowhere near as interesting. Enzo and Cass defend against the club and retain. Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor for the U.S. title. Because Brock Lesnar comes out and just completely demolishes Sami Zayn on the night after WrestleMania. He just destroys him. And Jericho finally doing the thing that he did in real life when Lesnar busted open Randy Orton the hard way. Jericho's like, look, sucker, or whatever, you just made the list and whatever. So we get a dream match that has never happened. Brock Lesnar versus Chris Jericho for the Universal title at Payback. To give Lesnar a great match, send Jericho off all injured, for him to be in Fozzy. I think it'd be an awesome match. It's definitely me fantasy booking, but that match has never happened, so I want it. So their U.S. title is Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. Kevin Owens retains. Neville continues being the king of the cruiserweights. Now we're building up Lince Dorado for a month on 205 Live, but Neville beats him as well, just showing himself as dominant. Backlash, SmackDown. Naomi is champ, so Alexa gets her rematch. Naomi wins, so that's done. Dean gets his rematch for the IC title. Baron Corbin retains. That's done. Then you have AJ coming out of the Shane McMahon match. He's right. Everything that he said is right. He isn't wrong in any way. He's just kind of mad and kind of angry. So the fans have been embracing him. So at this point, we fully turn him face. And we get a triple threat. Bray Wyatt versus AJ versus Randy. And because Randy's an idiot, Bray Wyatt is able to capitalize and pin Randy. Of course, there've been call-ups and stuff, but I don't have them written down when they happen. But at some point, the Hardy Boys show up, and they take on the Usos at Backlash. The Usos like, oh, we're brothers, and nobody can whatever. And the Hardy Boys shoot their fingers up in the air and have their technicolors and all that. And the Hardy Boys beat the Usos and have the titles. Now, I should say that the Usos winning the tag belts yesterday ruined me. Ruined every storyline I had. The Hardys weren't even supposed to show. I originally had the Hardys showing up at the Rumble.
Nice.
So Hardy Boys are your new SmackDown champs. Bray Wyatt's WWE. Baron Corbin retain. Naomi retain. Extreme Rules. You have a fatal 4-way for the Raw Tag Team titles. Enzo and Cass versus the Club versus Sheamus and Cesaro versus the New Day, and New Day ends up somehow pinning all three teams at the same time because New Day rocks, and they're gonna beat their old record. That's the big thing. They're gonna beat their old record. The U.S. title does not get defended. Kevin Owens and Samoa Joe end up having a tag match versus plucky Sami Zayn and Finn Balor, which Sami Zayn and Finn Balor win. Finn getting the pin on Kevin Owens. Sasha versus Bayley. This time's for all the marbles. Sasha retains. Sasha's got it. Brock Lesnar's like, I'm not here for this. I don't work that many nights. I'll see you at Bad Blood. So they have a number one contenders match for Bad Blood. Seth Rollins versus Roman Reigns, who is now fully turned heel. And Seth pins him clean. Curb Stomp is back. You can tell that I like the cruiserweights the most because on most of my lists, I have the cruiserweights at the bottom of them. That's very funny to me. Neville takes on another babyface and beats him, Akira Tozawa. So Neville continues to prove he is the true king of the cruiserweights. He's taken out every babyface that they have. Money in the Bank. SmackDown Women's title. You have Naomi versus Natalya. And as much as I don't think Natalya's done well, and as much as I think she's a terrible heel, they clearly think she's good. So I think they're going to give her a title run as a heel. Be like, oh, good job, Natalya. You deserve this. Yay, golf clap. I don't think so, but I think it's going to happen. SmackDown, you have triple threat: Hardy Boys versus American Alpha versus the Usos. Hardy Boys retain. Money in the Bank, there is no IC title defending because Baron Corbin is currently in Money in the Bank. And the big story here is that John Cena's returned, and he's made it very clear and apparent he wants to chase the gold. He is going to beat the unbeaten record, be the biggest title champ of all time. He's currently tied with Ric Flair. He's going to beat it. And that's the story for John Cena. So Money in the Bank is John Cena, Dean Ambrose, Luke Harper, The Miz, Breezango as the comedy spot, Tyler Breeze and Fandango, Dolph Ziggler and Randy Orton, and Baron Corbin. And Baron Corbin ends up stopping John Cena at every time Cena gets any momentum, Baron Corbin stops him. It's like John Cena just can't deal with him, and Baron Corbin ends up winning it. So he's our IC title and Money in the Bank holder, like you had, except I have it on a different person.
Yeah.
Bad Blood was gonna be Great American Bash, so New Day, as the Raw Tag Team Champs, come out in their red, white, and blue. But now it's Bad Blood, so now they'll be in black and red, I guess. Whatever. New Day comes out, and they issue an open challenge, because they're like, who could beat us? Who could? And then Sanity debuts from NXT. All four of them. All four of them come up, and Eric Young, wow, take up, wow. He just starts growling at him. New Day does retain U.S. title. Kevin Owens defends against Finn Balor, and now Finn Balor has won the U.S. title. Raw women, you have Sasha taking over another woman. I'd have Dana Brooke versus Sasha. Sasha retains. Cruiserweights, you have Neville take on Mustafa Ali in a rematch from their amazing match yesterday. Neville wins, and this officially finishes it. He's beaten every babyface cruiserweight there is. He's pinned all of them. There's nobody left for him not to pin. He is finally the king of the cruiserweights. Seth Rollins gets his match versus Brock Lesnar. Brock Lesnar destroys him. That's the end of it. That leads up to SummerSlam. I actually have my draft the week after SummerSlam, so I'm not going to do my draft yet. Which is probably foolish of me to do the draft so late, but the stories are too good. Neville will do Cruiserweights first, because this is my favorite one I've done. Neville is, I'm the king, I've beaten everybody. I've beaten the greatest man in the world, I've beaten so on and so forth. There is no Cruiserweight that could defeat me. And then you hear, booyaka booyaka, 619. King Rey Mysterio, that's what Rey means, King, the greatest cruiserweight of all time, returns, and we get Neville versus Rey Mysterio at SummerSlam, and the real king of the cruiserweights defeats Neville, Rey Mysterio, back on the top of the cruiserweights. I really like that.
Yeah. I hope it doesn't happen. It's a cool idea, but I don't...
I know, both of you hate Rey Mysterio. I don't like him very much either, but it's a great story.
It's worrying plausible.
Natalya defends against Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch beats her. Natalya had 2 months, 1 month. That's fine. That's enough. Becky Lynch is the main character of the SmackDown Women. Becky Lynch is champ. John Cena has a grudge against Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin keeps getting in his way, so you have an IC title match, Baron Corbin for John Cena, and Baron Corbin wins clean, because John Cena always puts him over clean in the first match.
That's right.
SmackDown tag titles, The Revival has debuted.
Yeah.
And it's now The Revival versus the Hardy Boys, and The Revival are your new SmackDown champs.
I said, look at us being twins. We both got Revival as tag champions on SummerSlam.
Yeah, boy. Raw tag team, Sanity ends up beating the New Day. Asuka debuted night after WrestleMania and started building up her undefeated streak again, just like she has in NXT. Sasha versus Asuka, and Asuka takes the belt. Asuka's your new Raw Women's Champion. U.S. title, we have triple threat, Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens versus Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman is able to use them fighting amongst each other to capitalize and pins both of them. Hands on both. Dominant win.
Nice.
Hey.
WWE title, you have AJ Styles, babyface, defend against Bray Wyatt. AJ Styles retains. And then you have Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. And Roman Reigns finally takes the title off of Lesnar. You treat Lesnar as the babyface here, because everyone just wants to see him beat up Reigns, and Reigns cheats to win. Reigns is your guy. He holds the title high. And that's how I end SummerSlam.
I just picture the whole internet yelling.
I would mark out.
So now we're on the road to WrestleMania, the third topic.
3.
Let's have Michael lead us to his WrestleMania.
I don't want to worry you, but SummerSlam is on page 3 of 10 in this Word document.
Oh, goodness.
Unforgiven, September 10th. It's a smash show. I completely decided just to make it a throwaway pay-per-view, and I have the Hardys defeat American Alpha for the tag titles. They retain the belts. Nakamura defends the IC title in an elimination match against Ziggler. Both members of the club, Apollo Crews, Fandango, Tyler Breeze, and returning Drew Mac. He's back.
Drew McIntyre.
I would mark the crap out for that.
Many years ago, when me and Jessel used to watch the pay-per-views live, I believe it was, I used to bore him to tears going on and on about how great Drew McIntyre was.
Yeah.
I did not get it.
And just a few weeks ago, he sent me or was it last week or something? He sent me this match with Will Ospreay. He's like, "My goodness, I finally seen a match, and I understand. I get the Drew love. So yes."
That is a great match, by the way. Drew Galloway versus Will Ospreay, WCPW. That is a great match. You should look it up.
I watched that Monday morning during breakfast. It was wonderful. And I just want to throw it out there that it was probably 4 or 5 years ago now at a Christmas Eve service at the church right down the street from me. Drew Galloway was actually there with He was there with Fit Finley's wife. Fit Finley lives over here in the area, and so he was there with his wife. They're apparently really good friends, and I got to meet him. I got his autograph. It's up on my refrigerator at all times. He signed it, The Champ.
Oh, that's fun. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was wonderful. Wonderful experience.
So,
he wouldn't take a picture with me because it was church, and we had to be respectful of it being church. But it happened, I promise you.
So I've got Nakamura defending the title there because I figured it's too soon for a title change, really. SmackDown Women, it's another multi-person match because, I rarely have those. And it's Becky Lynch defending against Carmella, Mickie James, Naomi, Emma, Natalya, and just for the process of the rules of this thing, Tamina and Eva Marie. Just because I needed 2 extra people. I don't really believe that they're going to show up anytime. Well, Tamina might because she has a habit, but I needed multi people here, and they were the only ones in SmackDown. So there they are. And Emma wins the belt here. Woo! Because that's one of the main things of the draw is that she gets onto SmackDown where they actually use their women. Because I feel like she've just been wasting her for so long. WWE title match. It's another multi-man match, would you believe? And Baylor defends the belt against Sami Zayn, Cena, Ambrose, Orton, Bray Wyatt, Miz, and Baron Corbin. And the whole thing comes down to basically Sami Zayn nearly has his belt back, and Balor screws him over and retains.
Oh, it's amazing. Oh, I love it. I love how many 8-man matches you have.
And we've not even had the great stupid gimmick match yet.
Oh yeah, Michael's been telling me all about a gimmick match that he's been building that's never been seen before that he's building up to. I'm so excited.
And will never be seen in real life. Oh, so Clash of the Champions Raw pay-per-view 24th September. And the New Day defend against the Usos and Enzo and Big Cass in a triple threat and retain. US title, it's Samoa Joe defending against Kevin Owens. Yes, the dissension in the Triple H ranks has fully started to break down, and Samoa Joe defends the belt, but Kevin Owens, he walks out on them, shall we say. And there's all dissension.
So Kevin's going babyface-ish.
More kind of like Bad News Brown. He's his own. He doesn't fit into any one group or thingy.
Sure.
He's out for himself. Asuka defends the women's title against Charlotte, which that never happened in NXT. Actually, it's not the first time ever. Cruiserweight title. There was a Cruiserweight Championship change on 205 when Jack Gallagher won the belt. And he defends here against Tajiri.
Ooh, Tajiri.
Clearly, when I wrote this, I thought it'd be cool to have a Tajiri match on pay-per-view, and I still agree with that. Tajiri's cool.
No, I got him. He's showing up on mine too. Don't worry.
There's the SummerSlam rematch, AJ Styles v Roman Reigns, and AJ retains the belt. So the only other thing of note on that pay-per-view is that Bobby Roode debuts on Raw. And
Nice. I have Bobby Roode showing up on Raw too.
so No Mercy, that's back to SmackDown, October 8th. We've got SmackDown tag belts, and the Hardys defend the belts against the Club. Nakamura defends his IC title against Sami Zayn, who got booked in that. Their match in NXT was amazing. I assume this one would be amazing too, but Nakamura wins again to retain his belt. SmackDown Women's, Emma beats Becky Lynch in a singles match. This pay-per-view has a shocking amount of singles matches, actually, for me.
I love that it's shocking that there's regular matches.
Yes.
I love it. It's like you've made them a gimmick of themselves now. There's so many multi-man matches that now singles matches are gimmicks.
Well, do you remember when they overplayed Orton Cena so much that the gimmick of their latest pay-per-view match was this was like the gimmick was that the match must end by pinfall or submission. Oh god. However, I break this order of things by having a triple threat WWE title match, which is Balor defending against Cena and Ambrose, and he keeps the belt. He'll become to Hell in a Cell, where we have a multi-man with AJ Styles in the Hell in a Cell defending his title against Braun Strowman, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, and Brock Lesnar, and I think that would just be a hellacious clusterfuck.
That's the return of the six-pack Hell in a Cell, yeah?
Yes, and that's...
Yeah, I have one of those too.
I have... sadly, Jack Gallagher's reign ended. He was in another kind of multi-man match, shall we say, on 205 Live. Aries wins the belt back, and he takes on Cedric Alexander on pay-per-view. We have the screwy ending where it looks like Cedric Alexander had the match won when Aries gets himself disqualified, so he retains the belt. On the women's side, we've got poor old Alexa Bliss trying to win the women's title against Asuka, and it goes as well as you can imagine. Samoa Joe defending his belt against Hideo Itami, and we have the tag titles. This is where the stupid gimmick match comes in.
This is so at Hell in a Cell.
Yes.
Is where you're putting your big gimmick. All right, what's your big gimmick
We've
match?
got the New Day, Enzo and Cass, the Usos, Cesaro and Sheamus, Epico and Primo, who still exist, Rusev and Luke Harper, who are representing Triple H's stable, and two cruiserweight teams, Kendrick and Neville, and Gallagher and Gran Metalik, and it is the very first ever Rumble in a Cell match.
Rumble in a Cell, okay.
Two tag teams start within the side of Hell in a Cell. Every 3 minutes, another tag team enters. You can be eliminated by pinfall or submission. Once all 8 teams have finished, the door's shut, and it's an elimination Hell in a Cell match with Royal Rumble rules to thingy. I think that would be amazing and stupid, and I love it, so I went with it.
No, that's really great.
I like it.
I love it.
I like it.
Rusev and Luke Harper, Triple H's boys, win the tag titles. So that brings us to Survivor Series. Cruiserweight title, we have a rematch with Cedric Alexander and Aries wins the bit. Aries beats him this time. That's to end that mini feud. We also have 3 Survivor matches. We have Asuka, Bayley, Charlotte, and Alexa versus Emma, Becky, Mickey, Naomi, and Natalya. SmackDown women win that one. We've got the tag ones, which this year is Rusev and Harper, the New Day, Enzo and Cass, the Usos and Cesaro and Sheamus, versus the Hardys, the Club, American Alpha, Breezango, and the Hype Brothers. The Hardys get the final pin. And we have a Raw v SmackDown main event, and it's won by Joe in the end, because the whole story is that SmackDown need Zayn and Balor to work together, and they can't. We've also got a Universal title match, where AJ Styles defends in a triple threat against The Big Show and Braun Strowman. And Braun Strowman pins The Big Show to win the Universal title.
All right.
The Big Show is so close to getting another title reign.
Yes, TLC, SmackDown Tag Titles, ladder match, American Alpha defeat the Hardys. And obviously, the unwritten rule of wrestling is that the Hardy Boys lose ladder matches.
It's true.
IC title match, Nakamura defends against The Miz, and The Miz actually beats him. SmackDown Women, Emma versus Naomi versus Becky Lynch, and Becky Lynch manages to win the belt back off Emma by pinning Naomi. Balor, in a TLC match, defends his WWE title against John Cena, so Cena can take a second loss to Balor without getting pinned. Plus, obviously, TLC is going to be a TLC match. The Raw pay-per-view in January 2018, which I have called Breakdown because there was a Breakdown pay-per-view in 1998, which I loved. The Usos beat Harper and Rusev to win the tag titles. Samoa Joe taking on AJ Styles for the US title, and Samoa Joe manages to defend the belt. You've got Asuka versus Alexa Bliss again, and poor old Alexa Bliss gets crushed. Aries defends the belt against Rich Swann, so Aries holds the belt there. Braun Strowman taking on the Big Show. Anything goes match, but with the added stipulation that if the Big Show doesn't win the title, he has to retire. Yeah, Braun wins and everyone gets to look sad and kind of go, thanks for the memories, Big Show. You know, when you were great, you were great. Let's just not talk about all the Randy Orton matches. The Royal Rumble, and its Universal title, Braun Strowman defeats Roman Reigns in a gimmick match. Balor defeats Randy Orton to retain his title. Asuka defeats Charlotte to defend the Raw Women's title. Usos defeat Enzo and Cass and the New Day in a triple threat to defend the Raw tag titles. And American Alpha defeat the Club to defend the SmackDown tag titles. 6-person Cruiserweight title match, where Aries defended his belt against Cedric, Tajiri, Neville, Grand Metalik, and Brian Kendrick. Oh, and there's the Royal Rumble. Number 1's Brock Lesnar, and it's The Rock in the Royal Rumble, thus starting a WrestleMania feud between the two part-timers. Number 24 is Bill Goldberg, and Goldberg immediately eliminates Undertaker. Sami Zayn manages to knock AJ Styles out the ring, and he wins the Rumble because he's taking on Balor at WrestleMania.
That makes sense.
Elimination Chamber. Nakamura wins the IC title back off Miz. The Broken Hardys win the tag titles off American Alpha. Becky Lynch defeats Emma. Elimination Chamber happens and Balor retains the belt in a match with Dean Ambrose, Cena, Orton, Bray, and Baron Corbin. And in Fastlane, we've got Braun defending his belt against Seth Rollins. Samoa Joe defending against Rusev. We've got Asuka defending against Nia Jax, because there's no point having Asuka lose her belt this close to WrestleMania after she's just killed everyone for so long. The Usos defeat Cesaro and Sheamus, which is just a match which is there for the tag titles to keep it tumbling along. And the main event is a ladder match. Basically, it looks a bit like a Money in the Bank match, except the winner gets to face Braun Strowman for the title at WrestleMania. So, you know, it's basically who wants to win that. And it's Chris Jericho, Kevin Owens, Bobby Roode, Roman Reigns, Luke Harper, and the winner AJ Styles, who never got pinned to lose his belt. That takes us to WrestleMania. There's an Andre Battle Royal, and it's won by Bobby Roode. The Raw tag titles, it's the New Day versus the Usos, and it's if the New Day don't win this match, they have to split up. I figure by this point they'll have been going for about 4 years, so the Usos retain, and that's the end of New Day.
Oh, sad.
As seen by the fact I bring back Money in the Bank to WrestleMania, so we can get a whole lot of folk on the actual card. And I have Nakamura winning the Money in the Bank title at WrestleMania. Samoa Joe, John Cena, and Kurt Angle is the US title match at WrestleMania, because I feel that could give Angle a sort of farewell, but it's also because it's not a singles match. He can be kind of protected, shall we say.
Yeah.
And Samoa Joe wins the belt back there, and the whole reason that Angle got the belt to lose it is just so he can have a sort of, this is his farewell, shall we say, so that he doesn't feel like, I've not properly ended my career, I should go and wrestle 27 death matches. Well, I hope anyway. He's not, you know, it could be Angle, he ends his career, then he has the 27 death matches anyway.
That's true.
Raw Women's title, it's Asuka v Sasha. I have Sasha being the first person to beat Asuka here.
Ooh.
Undertaker versus Goldberg. I can see that being a very short match, 5 minutes most. It's more about the spectacle than anything, and you can see it happen. You know, spear, you know, sitting up,
Tombstone reversal, Tombstone, etc. Brock v. Rock.
I have The Rock winning it way back when Rock put Brock Lesnar over, so I'm returning the favour. Triple H v Shane McMahon is a complete clusterfuck type match. And Triple H beats him because there's no reason for Shane McMahon to be winning matches at WrestleMania. SmackDown tag titles. This is where it gets a bit crazy. Basically, we're fully into the whole Broken Hardys thing now, and they want to face the two best teams that have been in the WWE, which they call the Justice of S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Family of Wyatt. And people are like, well, the Wyatt family and the S.H.I.E.L.D. aren't teams at the moment, obviously. Well, the S.H.I.E.L.D. are all kind of vaguely friendly now, but, you know, the Wyatts, they were all, you know, at each other's throats. So this is where Voodoo gets involved, and where it all goes, the wacky Hardys thing, and you can have them muddling. It's basically, you know, the whole the Broken Hardy universe operates in a different time frame to everything else in the world, basically. And that's how we managed to get the Hardys v the Wyatts v the Shield as a SmackDown tag title triple threat match. The Hardys retain because otherwise the universe would explode.
Yeah, no, good point.
Which just leaves us with the two world titles, and AJ Styles beat Braun to win his belt back, and Sami Zayn beats Balor, which ends this 8-month feud.
There you go.
And there we go.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
And that's my voice dead.
You want me to go next, or you want?
I'll go so you can finish it all off.
So I finish it up. All right, boy.
All right, it's been a while since I've had to think about it now. Okay. All right, Vengeance, IC title. This is the SmackDown pay-per-view, September 10th.
So you're going with
Vengeance.
Vengeance.
I'm going with Vengeance.
You're going with Vengeance. All right.
Shinsuke Nakamura defeating The Miz in an IC title match, but he wins by either disqualification or count out, so he cannot take the belt. Charlotte defeats Mickie James and wins the belt. The Revival retains against the New Day, and I know you hate it when they do this, I'm saying Ambrose and Corbin are going to be a team by this point because they can't get along, and they're going to be put together to try and get along and work together. So Apollo Crews defeats Cesaro for the Olympic gold medal.
I forgot that you made the new title.
Yeah. In a WWE title match, Randy Orton defeats Luke Harper in a Falls Count Anywhere match. So this is a rematch from SummerSlam, but with a different stipulation. So Randy Orton is still the freaking champion. Clash of Champions, which is Raw, September 24th. Braun Strowman is given a shot at the U.S. title by the McMahons, but he has to help them out at some point, but they obviously don't say what. So Braun Strowman defeats Chris Jericho for the U.S. title. I got American Alpha defeating the Southpaw Regional Wrestling version of the club. I can't remember their characters' names.
It's Tex Ferguson and Chad Too Bad.
Yeah, so they become that for a while because the club's really boring.
Perfect.
So American Alpha defeat Southpaw, the club. I got Bayley defeating Sasha Banks. I'm not sure if that's retaining or winning it outright. I can't remember. It'll be on there for you to see on the website. Austin Aries defeats Hideo Itami for the Cruiserweight title. And then I've got Bray Wyatt defeating Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in a triple threat match. Braun Strowman is told that his favor, since he took it, he has to go and make sure Bray Wyatt wins the match. So Braun's going to go and help Wyatt win the match. And then on the next night on Raw, the McMahons are going to take Bray Wyatt and Braun and make them honorary McMahons. So Bray and Braun are now Bray and Braun McMahon, and they are working with Steph and Shane. So they're suits now. They're no longer with their dirty old clothes. Now they're wearing suits and being professionals. So you got...
Okay.
So now we're going into No Mercy. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats The Miz and wins the IC title. I got Ambrose and Corbin winning the tag titles against the Revival. Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte for the women's title. I'm not sure if that's is that a new champion? Yep. I got too many new champions. This is not going to happen. Apollo Crews retains the Olympic gold medal against Zack Ryder. He comes back. Then I've got AJ Styles defeating Randy Orton for the WWE title, followed by The Miz cashing in Money in the Bank and taking the belt immediately off of AJ Styles. Just a classic usage of the Money in the Bank briefcase. Hell in a Cell, which I completely forgot existed until just a couple days ago. So these matches are kind of thrown together. I've got the Golden Brand, Titus O'Neil and Goldust winning the tag titles against American Alpha. Foley is going to return at Hell in a Cell since Mick Foley is all obsessed with Hell in a Cell. He's going to return and he's going to want his GM position back. Monday Night Raw really messed up this one. So Triple H is going to show up and Triple H is going to send Samoa Joe down there to beat up Mick Foley. And so they're actually going to drop the cell. So Samoa Joe and Foley are stuck in there. And John Cena is going to come out to Mick Foley's aid. And I already had Samoa Joe fighting John Cena, but it wasn't going to be in Hell in a Cell. But since the Hell in a Cell is already there, they end up having a Hell in a Cell match that Samoa Joe wins against John Cena. Austin Aries defeating Tajiri by countout after he gets misted in the face. So he rolls out of the ring and he's rubbing his eyes and he can't find the ring. So he gets counted out. And it looks like it's Tajiri's fault because he misted him in the face. Then I have Bray McMahon defeating Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns in the Hell in a Cell. So now we're going to Survivor Series. Team Raw versus Team SmackDown Women's. I have Raw winning against SmackDown. Apollo Crews retains his gold medal against Dean Ambrose. And it's important to note that all these gold medal matches are pure wrestling matches. There's never any stipulations. You have to win by pinfall or submission. There's a time limit, all that kind of stuff. Cruiserweight title, Austin Aries defeats Tajiri. SmackDown Women's, Becky Lynch defeats Charlotte in a submissions match. WWE title, The Miz defeats Randy Orton. A few weeks before this, AJ Styles gets his title shot against The Miz, but it gets interrupted by Brock Lesnar, who returns and just lays everybody out. So then we get Brock Lesnar defeating AJ Styles at Survivor Series. And then in the main event is Team McMahon versus Team Get McMahon Out of Power. So if the McMahon team loses, they have to stop controlling Raw. And the good guys win. The good guys are Roman Reigns, John Cena, Seth Rollins, The Big Show, and Ty Dillinger. And the bad guys are Braun McMahon, Kevin Owens, Samoa Joe, Bray McMahon, and Shane McMahon. They lose and they have to leave Raw. Which, of course, means in the next week, they show up to SmackDown and decide, hey, you know what? We're just going to take over SmackDown. So they immediately tell Kurt Angle that he loses all his power. Kurt Angle has to decide if he wants to be a wrestler or if he wants to retire. Okay, so TLC SmackDown. I'm trying to do this quickly. Shinsuke Nakamura defeats Luke Harper. Ambrose and Corbin defeat the New Day in a chairs match. Charlotte defeats Becky Lynch in a tables match. Shelton Benjamin defeats Apollo Crews for the gold medal in a ladder match. And this is my most multi-person match besides the Rumble and the Chamber. Brock Lesnar defeats The Miz, AJ Styles, and Randy Orton in a TLC match. I don't think it's going to happen because I don't think any multi-man matches happen, but that's what I currently have. All right, Battleground. This is Raw in early January. That's the one I have penciled in for there. Battleground. Mick Foley is in Power on Raw again. I have Nikki Bella winning the women's title against Bayley. Throughout the couple of months, Kevin Owens has sort of been, since John Cena's never around, he's sort of been working Nikki Bella. Not so much, it's not like a romance or sexual thing. It's just he's manipulating her, trying to make her think that she needs his advice and whatnot, and he likes to bring up the fact that John's never around. So he's just being a big dick and working on Nikki Bella. So he's actually at ringside with her and helps her out here. She doesn't realize that he helps her win the belt, but he does. The Golden Brand defeats Southpaw Regional Wrestling the Club for the tag titles. Doesn't matter. Chris Jericho is being a heel. He's on a big kick about how he's the greatest WCW superstar of all time. So he gets a match against the Big Show, and he defeats the Big Show here. Cruiserweight title, I have Will Ospreay. He's debuting, and he defeats Austin Aries for the title. And then the U.S. Universal titles are both defended in a tag match. Braun and Bray McMahon defeat Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. All right, Royal Rumble. Cruiserweight title, Will Ospreay defeats Austin Aries in a rematch. Women's title, SmackDown, Alexa Bliss defeats Charlotte. Raw women's title, we've got Nikki Bella retaining against, this is a bunch of people. Bayley, Nia Jax, Sasha Banks, Dana Brooke, and Emma. So a big multi-person match. Brock Lesnar successfully defends the title against Shelton Benjamin, the WWE title. Seth Rollins defeats Bray McMahon. They don't have the McMahon's help anymore, so this causes things to fall apart between Braun and Bray. So Braun calls Bray the match. So Bray McMahon is out. Seth Rollins is the new champion. Then for the Rumble, I'm not going to go through everything. I'll just go through a couple of moments. Hardys are going to come back. It's not going to be a surprise. They're going to have been advertised for a little bit. So it's because I have some other surprises in it. So you have both Matt and both Jeff come back during the Rumble. Final four are Cena, Owens, Finn Balor, and Jericho. Cena eliminates Jericho. Owens eliminates Cena and then is a huge dick about it. So Cena comes back in the ring, gives him an AA. That gives Finn Balor the chance to eliminate Owens, and Finn Balor wins the Rumble. Finn Balor decides that he's going to challenge Seth Rollins for the title, and Seth Rollins is, of course, on Raw. So this brings up the dilemma. So they decide that the pay-per-view between Royal Rumble and WrestleMania, there is only going to be one. I don't have two pay-per-views. They decide it's going to be Elimination Chamber, and it's going to be joint brand. It's going to be 3 joint brand pay-per-views in a row, and it's going to be 3 Raw guys, 3 SmackDown guys in the chamber. The winner gets to face Brock Lesnar, since Seth Rollins is facing Finn Balor. Okay. So this, I book U.S. title. Samoa Joe defeats Braun Strowman and Big Cass to win the United States title. SmackDown tag titles. This is also a good thing. I actually like this part. The Hardys are actually, I don't like much. The Hardys are not committed to either show. They are kind of playing the free agency thing to the best they can. And so both shows are trying to get them to sign. So the Hardys get a SmackDown tag title shot and a Raw tag title shot at Elimination Chamber. So the Hardy Boys defeat Baron Corbin and Dean Ambrose to win the SmackDown titles. And then they defeat the Golden Brand to win the Raw tag team titles. So now the Hardy Boys have all the tag team gold.
Ooh.
I got Dolph Ziggler defeating Shelton Benjamin for the Olympic gold medal. I have for the Raw Women's title, John Cena is back in the picture, and he wants to be there for Nikki and all that stuff. So he's at ringside with Nikki when she wrestles Nia Jax, and he ends up being more of a distraction than anything, and he actually costs Nikki the title by accident. So Nia Jax is your new Raw Women's champion. Cruiserweight title, Will Ospreay defeats... Wow, this doesn't make sense. I have Will Ospreay defeats Austin Aries, Hideo Itami, and Austin Aries again. I'm assuming I meant to put Neville there, but I didn't. So that match is going to have 2 Austin Aries. It's there. I ain't changing it. Perfect. Chris Jericho has a highlight reel. Goldberg's his special guest. Can start this little feud that's going to go into Mania. I have Eva Marie with Breezango. I think when Eva returns, she's going to get them as her valets. It defeats Becky Lynch. Because Kevin Owens was eliminated somewhat unfairly with Cena getting involved, Kevin Owens is given a Universal title. He's given there's a new number 1 contenders match, kind of like what they did with Rey Mysterio, Randy Orton after the 2006 Rumble. So it's Finn Balor. He defeats Kevin Owens to absolutely gain his Universal title shot. But they have a match for the basically to see who's the real Royal Rumble winner. So they fight each other, and then the Elimination Chamber, so we can get Roman Reigns to Brock Lesnar. Roman Reigns defeats Apollo Crews, AJ Styles, Randy Orton, Bray McMahon, and Ty Dillinger. So let's see what we got next. WrestleMania is the last one. Braun Strowman defeats Bray McMahon because they've got a little feud going. Raw Women's title. I have Nia Jax defeating Bayley, but I don't really know. I kind of things got confusing there at the end with the Raw Women's. SmackDown Women's, I got Eva Marie with Breezango defeating Alexa Bliss. Cruiserweight title, Hideo Itami defeats Will Ospreay. This is the classic good guy versus good guy. We're friends. We're not going to be mad at each other match. SmackDown tag titles, I've got The New Day, which Shelton Benjamin has now joined The New Day at this point. I have The New Day, Big E and Shelton Benjamin defeat the Hardy Boys to win the SmackDown titles. And then for the Raw tag titles, I have American Alpha defeat the Hardy Boys. So the Hardy Boys win them all, and they lose them both. So they're still not signed to a show at the end of WrestleMania. No one's been able to lock them down. After Kurt Angle beats Shane McMahon, he starts his feud with Triple H because that's the next person in that family that you would fight. So Triple H defeats Kurt Angle, and Kurt Angle rides off into the sunset all sad. Apollo Crews getting a big push and defeating Randy Orton at WrestleMania. Goldberg defeats Chris Jericho at WrestleMania. I am bringing the King of the Ring tournament back during March because I always felt like it was a missed opportunity to have March Madness, which is college basketball, everybody's obsessed with that whole bracket thing. And if you did a King of the Ring during that time and fed off of all that momentum on the brackets, I think that would be great.
That's a good idea. I mean, hell, that's why we're doing this as a semi-bracket idea at March.
Samoa Joe is originally not in this tournament, and he's kind of furious because he really hasn't been doing anything for a while, and he is the Money in the Bank champion. So he offers to put his Money in the Bank briefcase on the line if he gets a spot, so he can prove everybody wrong. So the semifinals, I have on SmackDown, Luke Harper defeats Dean Ambrose to make it to the finals, and then I have Big Cass defeating Samoa Joe, so taking him out of the tournament and moving on to the finals. And then the finals for the King of the Ring, and now for Samoa Joe's briefcase, I have Big Cass defeating Luke Harper to become the King of the Ring and taking Samoa Joe's briefcase. WWE title, I have Roman Reigns defeats Brock Lesnar. Universal title, I have Finn Balor defeating Seth Rollins. Seth Rollins is heel at this point over the last couple months. And then the Big Show gets his contract extended so he can have one more WrestleMania. And he's, of course, going to spend it in the Andre the Giant Battle Royal where he has dominated so much. And he gets in there, and when it gets down to just him and Miz, and the Miz is able to trick him and throw him over the top rope and win the Andre the Giant Battle Royal and send the Big Show packing all sad. And the Big Show gives him a KO punch to knock him out cold, and he leaves the WWE. And that is my WrestleMania.
Goodness, you retire two fellers in a real big sad way at WrestleMania 34.
The Big Show is known. It's known that this is going to be his last match. Kurt Angle, it could not be. Oh, and I have AJ Styles defeating Shinsuke Nakamura for the IC title. That's on there too.
All right, I'm going to try to go fast because we've been here for a long time, and I'm going to have to edit this. So first off, the night after SummerSlam is the draft. Samoa Joe, Sami Zayn, Sasha Banks, and Seth Rollins all go to SmackDown. Raw gets American Alpha and The Miz and people that don't matter. I didn't even bother putting him down. They get other people. The night after that SmackDown, because Sami Zayn is like, I don't get enough credit on Raw. I never get enough credit. So he's finally on SmackDown. He says, I want the credit. Give me a chance. And he has an IC title match against Baron Corbin and wins on SmackDown. Just his first match on SmackDown, and he wins. Everyone cheers. Yay, Sami Zayn. At Unforgiven, the September pay-per-view, we have Sami Zayn versus Baron Corbin. Sami Zayn retains. SmackDown Women's, you have Becky Lynch versus Carmella. Becky Lynch retains. The Revival fight the new number one contenders, Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose, who, since they're on the same show, they're best pals, and they're the best pals. And Revival wins, but Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose realize, we really like working together. It's like Mini the Shield. So they're going to stay a tag team for a while. And then the WWE title match is AJ Styles versus Luke Harper, who never got a fair shake, so he gives him a fair chance. Babyface. AJ Styles wins, shakes Luke Harper's hand. Luke Harper looks good. Kind of like, what was it, Kurt Angle, Chris Benoit, 2003, somewhere in there, where Benoit looked really good, but he just couldn't beat Angle, and Angle put him over. Same kind of thing. AJ Styles puts over Luke Harper, but AJ still retains. Clash of Champions. Raw Brands, met September 24th. Sanity, Raw Tag Champs versus Enzo and Cass. Sanity retains. Finn Balor versus Braun Strowman for the U.S. title, and it is a double countout. They just won't stop beating the shit out of each other, so Finn Balor retains. Raw Women's match, Asuka starts beating up all the people as a champ, and she beats Alicia Fox. Cruiserweight match, you have Rey Mysterio versus Neville in a rematch. Rey wins. Universal title, Roman Reigns defends against Cesaro. Roman Reigns cheats to win. Cesaro is the uncrowned people's champ, but no mercy. SmackDown brand, October 8th. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch retains, but you can see that Sasha has an idea. Sami Zayn defends the IC title versus Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt wins through dubious magical means. So Bray Wyatt's your new IC champ. The Revival lose the SmackDown tag titles to the Hardy Boys. So Hardy Boys are now your new champs. AJ Styles versus Dolph Ziggler. AJ Styles retains the WWE title. Hell in a Cell. You have Sanity versus American Alpha. Kurt Angle is at this point the commissioner, general manager figure of Raw. So he wants American Alpha to be good, and he keeps giving them chances, but they keep failing. So Sanity beats American Alpha, have a U.S. title match, Braun Strowman versus Sheamus versus Cesaro, breaking up Sheamus and Cesaro. Braun Strowman wins. Asuka beat Emma. 2 Hell in a Cells that night. One's a very Michael-style match. The return of the 6-pack Hell in a Cell for the Cruiserweights. So it's Rey Mysterio, Neville, Austin Aries, the Brian Kendrick, Akira Tozawa, and Jack Gallagher, all in this crazy 6-man Hell in a Cell match that has Jack Gallagher winning at the very end. And then you have a triple threat Universal title match, Hell in a Cell, Roman Reigns versus Kevin Owens versus Finn Balor. Finn Balor is crowned champion. Survivor Series, I didn't go through every match. There's a women's one and there's a bragging rights one. But the only ones that I've worked out completely is there is a tag team Survivor Series match. Hardy Boys, Seth and Dean, The Revival, and Heath and Rhino versus Sanity, American Alpha, Enzo and Cass, New Day. Heath gets pinned super fast. Rhino gets pissed, turns heel on Slater finally, destroys him. Ultimately, the Raw tag teams win, with American Alpha being the sole survivors. You have a Cruiserweight Survivor Series match, Team Kendrick versus Team Aries, because Brian Kendrick and Austin Aries have been feuding with each other outside of the title. And that's Team Kendrick is Brian Kendrick, Tony Nese, Drew Gulak, Noam Dar, TJ Perkins, who has turned heel at this point. And Team Aries, Austin Aries, Rich Swann, Akira Tozawa, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado. And Team Aries, the important thing is that Tony Nese is shockingly pinned in the first 5 seconds of that match with Aries. He's all like, oh, I'm totally going to do this. And Aries just rolls him up and immediately pins him. 1, 2, 3. Tony Nese is out and he's upset. And he's lost his way, leading to big things for Tony Nese. The Team Aries wins with Akira Tozawa, Grand Metalik, and Lince Dorado running roughshod, and all 3 of them standing tall over the heels. Then you have a Cruiserweight I Forfeit match, the Jack Gallagher special I Quit match, which means that you can never go after this again. And it's Gallagher versus Neville, and this is the end. King Neville is done. Jack Gallagher wins. The King of the Cruiserweights is finally defeated. Universal title, you have Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. Finn Balor retains. And then you have WWE title, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe wins, becoming the 50th WWE champion. Next up is TLC, SmackDown brand. First off, you have, because I set it up earlier, let's pay it off. Heath Slater versus Rhino in a last man standing. Rhino's now a monster heel. Heath Slater wins because of his dumb luck. He will not stay down. And that's ultimately how he beats Rhino, because Rhino gores him into the side of the ring, and Rhino goes through the ring, but Heath is able to get on his feet at 9, and Rhino's under the ring. No one can see him. So Heath wins. TNA did a match like that, Abyss versus Rhino, where they gored him through the thing. That was a really cool spot, so I want to do that spot here. SmackDown Women, you have to the best of my knowledge, the first ever women's ladder match. Becky Lynch versus Sasha, and Sasha win. Michael, has there been another women's ladder match?
I can't think of any in WWE, but there was actually one in TNA a number of years ago.
Yeah, so the first one in the WWE. SmackDown tag match. You have Hardy Boys versus Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose. And a chairs match, because Dean loves them chairs. Seth and Dean win, starting this kind of how Stone Cold, The Rock, and Mick Foley had a little triangle where Austin could never beat Foley, but he could beat The Rock. That kind of thing. That kind of thing's happening here. IC title, Bray Wyatt versus Sami Zayn in a what I think should be the new rule for all tables matches. So I'm going to make that my rule from now on. All tables matches are now 2 out of 3 tables. It just makes more sense to me. Because if everything ends on the first table, it's like, alright. But you get real suspense if they got to go through 2. And then you can get a moment like somebody tries to powerbomb somebody through 2 tables at once, try to end the match faster, that kind of thing. So all tables matches from this point forward are always 2 out of 3. Sami Zayn gets the IC title back. And then you have the TLC match, Samoa Joe versus AJ Styles. Samoa Joe retains. My January early pay-per-view for Raw is Holiday Havoc instead of Halloween. Raw tag titles, Sanity versus American Alpha, with Kurt Angle constantly trying to get them to to do better. Finally, they do it, and they overtake Sanity. American Alpha are your Raw Tag Team Champions. U.S. title, Braun Strowman versus Rey Mysterio, the Giant Killer. Rey Mysterio beats Braun Strowman, new U.S. champ. Raw Women's match, Asuka versus Bayley. Asuka wins. Cruiserweight match, Jack Gallagher versus Tony Nese. Because you see, Tony Nese needed a change, so he went and searched for somebody who could help him out. He needed a genetic freak. So Scott Steiner comes to 205 Live as a manager only. And he manages Tony Nese. Tony Nese now comes out in the chainmail, and his new demeanor, he's no longer being silly and the premier athlete. Now he's the premier freak, and you have the genetic freak and the premier freak. They're both kissing their huge biceps. Tony Nese, your new cruiserweight champ. Because this is the Raw pay-per-view before the Royal Rumble, Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman have another match. Braun Strowman has his second match because he's so pissed about losing the U.S. title to Rey. And Kurt Angle sets up the match. Roman versus Braun, because Roman won't shut up about the Royal Rumble. Braun won't shut up about it. So it's the loser of that match is number one in the Royal Rumble. Braun Strowman wins. So Roman Reigns is number one. Then your Universal title match is Finn Balor versus The Miz. Finn Balor retains. Alright, Royal Rumble. Now here's my weird gimmick match that's never happened before. I think it'd be great. I think that they're going to do the first ever Women's Rumble.
Yes.
That's going to open it up. It will be 20 women, and Charlotte will win the first ever Women's Rumble. Asuka will be on commentary the whole time, as will Sasha. Tony Nese versus Jack Gallagher one more time. Tony Nese definitively, he's got Gallagher beat. Universal title, Finn Balor versus Cesaro. Finn Balor wins. WWE title, Samoa Joe versus Randy Orton. Samoa Joe wins. And then we have our Royal Rumble. Roman Reigns in at number one. And I'm going to do a thing I've always wanted to see at the Royal Rumble that's never going to happen, but I want it, so I'm going to make it happen. Your final four, kind of, are Cena, Roman, Baron Corbin, and Braun. Baron Corbin is number 29. As that's all happening, number 30 hasn't come out yet, but as Baron comes out, it is just those four guys left, and they're brawling. Baron goes immediately for Cena, tosses Cena over, which allows Braun to come up immediately, toss Baron, and then Roman Reigns spears Braun over the top rope, and everyone is eliminated before the 30th entrant even enters. Then you have the countdown, 10, 9. Michael Cole's like, this is unthinkable. Whoever's number 30 didn't even have to compete to win. JBL, well, that's why they call it. That's why you have the advantage of 30, so on and so forth. 6, 5, 4. Everyone's going, no, this is a disgrace to the Royal Rumble, so on and so forth. 1, silence. And then, glorious. No, I won't give in. I won't give in. Bobby Roode debuts on Raw, wins the Rumble without having to try. First man to ever debut and win in the same night. First man to ever win without doing anything. And it is truly glorious, as Bobby Roode is your Royal Rumble winner. Next pay-per-view is Elimination Chamber. You have a number one contenders Elimination Chamber match for the SmackDown title, which Samoa Joe currently holds. You have, in that match, is John Cena, AJ Styles, Bray Wyatt, Heath Slater, Rhino, and Baron Corbin. At this point, John Cena finally gets a one-up on Baron Corbin, eliminating him from the Elimination Chamber. And John Cena wins the whole thing to make it be John Cena can finally go for the gold that he's wanted. He can finally beat the record. John Cena versus Samoa Joe at WrestleMania, because Samoa Joe retains against Sami Zayn, because of course he does. Oh, I have Sami Zayn written down twice. Oops, wasn't supposed to be Samoa Joe versus Sami Zayn, but I guess it is. IC titles is Sami Zayn versus Tyler Breeze versus Fandango, because during the Bray Wyatt feud, Bray Wyatt has put Tyler Breeze and Fandango under his spell, so they are now controlled by him, which I think is fun, but Sami Zayn retains. SmackDown Women's match, Sasha versus Nikki Bella. Nikki Bella wins there, uprooting Sasha. Fastlane in March. American Alpha defends against New Day. U.S. title, Rey Mysterio versus Eric Young from Sanity. And Eric Young, with all of Sanity, totally destroys Rey Mysterio and is your new U.S. champ. Tony Nese defends against Rich Swann. Asuka defends against Nikki Cross, who has the numbers game in her favor since she's with Sanity, but Asuka still pulls it out not afraid of sanity. And Finn Balor versus Roman Reigns. Finn Balor retains the title. So my WrestleMania 34. First things first, Andre the Giant Memorial Armbar Battle Royal, whatever. Roman Reigns gets put in it because he's nowhere else to be. And we use this to make this match actually matter. And Roman Reigns wins it. So that keeps him occupied. There is not a U.S. title match. There is instead a 3v3 Sanity versus Rey Mysterio, Kalisto, and Lince Dorado. So it's our Lucha guys versus Sanity. Because, what was it, a couple years ago they wanted to do Rey Mysterio versus Sin Cara and try to set the record for the most masks worn in an arena at a time. So we can break that record here. You can give out those masks to everybody who gets a ticket, have them all don their masks for the match, and the baby faces, they win. Eric Young's still US champ, but whatever. Raw tag titles. American Alpha, Kurt Angle has now fully made himself heel here, so he brings in the world's greatest tag team. American Alpha wins it. They finally have their big babyface win that I thought they would have had this year at 33, but no, they have it at 34, I guess. Raw's women's title, Asuka versus Charlotte, with her dad in her corner. Charlotte wins. SmackDown women's title, Nikki Bella versus Alexa Bliss, just to have a good match. Nikki Bella retains. We continue the story of the one-upmanship on the SmackDown tag titles. So we have the return of the tag team triple ladder match. Seth and Dean versus the Hardy Boys versus the Revival. Seth and Dean win it. Big, good, the best pals. Hooray. Kevin Owens faces The Undertaker. And this is The Undertaker's last match. Guaranteed. Period. They even announce it that way. So Kevin Owens is positive he is going to kill The Undertaker. He's going to kill him dead. Undertaker still wins, but I'd like somewhere to be the buried alive setup. And Kevin Owens does still bury The Undertaker alive and stands tall. And all that's left is his hat in the ring. And we don't see The Undertaker again on screen ever until he's announced for the Hall of Fame, where he magics himself in to go in the Hall of Fame. He breaks kayfabe so he can be Mark Calloway. We have a nice big moment 3 years down the line. But Undertaker's dead because Kevin Owens kills him, but Undertaker wins the match. Brock Lesnar versus Braun Strowman. Braun Strowman wins because Heyman turns on Brock Lesnar. So choosing Braun as his new monster. Loser leaves town match with AJ Styles, Dolph Ziggler, and Randy Orton. The loser of this match is fired. They're done. And the winner of the match is AJ, pinning Randy Orton. And Randy Orton is retired. But the next night on Raw, Dolph Ziggler comes out and says, "No, I didn't lose. I didn't get pinned." That kind of thing. But that's even further in the future than we need to go. Cruiserweight title. You've been using all this time to build up Akira Tozawa as a big champ. And Akira Tozawa's the one to beat Tony Nese. He's your new face of the Cruiserweight division. Sami Zayn versus Bray Wyatt in a cage match, because that will keep all the people that Bray Wyatt's been brainwashing to screw with Sami Zayn out. But that doesn't stop him. And I like the idea that all these brainwashed people come and rip apart the cage, and Bray Wyatt just walks out, a new IC champ. Finn Balor versus Bobby Roode. Ric Flair is in Bobby Roode's corner, passing along the Nature Boy name to Bobby Roode, because Flair's not the original Nature Boy either. So you just pass it on. So now he is the Nature Boy Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode beats Finn Balor in a great match with Flair in his corner. Charlotte comes out, and Flair is with both of them, a new power team with Flair. And then your ultimate match, Samoa Joe versus John Cena, with John Cena trying to break the record. And Samoa Joe retains because of Flair. And Flair runs down with Bobby Roode and Charlotte, and they keep John Cena from winning, with Flair refusing to let John Cena break the record. And you end WrestleMania like that, with Samoa Joe smirking that he survived this match. Bobby Roode and Charlotte and Ric Flair standing tall over John Cena. A new dynasty made. And that's my year.
So I went for the WrestleMania 30 finish with Sami Zayn, and you went for WrestleMania as told by Dario Argento.
I did indeed.
With the Bray Wyatt and all this.
I did indeed. I love Dario Argento. That's fair. So those are our Booker T Fantasy Invitational brackets. We're going to be keeping track of all of our records, all of our points, see how we do over the course of the year. Honestly, I'm just going to say I feel pretty good.
If the Rumble in the Cell happens, I think we all win.
I definitely agree with that. But I like seeing all the similarities we had. We pushed kind of the same people. We brought some of the same people in. It's very interesting. If you guys listening want to play along, you can just go to BrokenTableCommentary.com, get the form, fill it out. Our webmaster, Lenton, he'll host everything for you. But beyond that, I think that's a successful, if incredibly long, first episode.
And remember, you can head over to the website to see all of our entries put out there in easy-to-read format as well.
That's right.
Oh.
Next episode will be back to what will be the norm for Broken Table Commentary, with 3 topics from the 3 of us, and we will see you guys in a week. Bye.